In your face, all over the place. We're online 24/7. 24/7. You're listening to the hottest internet station. WLMR DB Radio.
Everyone, thank you each and every week for staying tuned in. We'll speak out your issues with Miss Show You Right, Nadine.
And Sabrina.
And tonight we have several guests, fabulous guests on our Speak Out Your Issues show. One is Miss Chocolate. She's in for her artist that she manages, Nicole Jackson. And we have Mr. Charles Gear, who has been a famous promoter for Atlantic Records back in the day and today, because everybody knows him. But tonight, everyone, our topic is music business today. And how is it? So we appreciate you all coming on Speak Out Your Issues show tonight and just give us a little information in reference to the music business today. Mr. Charles Gear, I'll start with you first. What do you think about the music business today? How is it going? Because you were a famous promoter for Atlantic Records back in the day, and everyone, like I mentioned earlier, still knows you so well.
Well, everybody know me now. Mm-hmm.
Oh, of course. And they knew you then.
I'm still famous. Well, I work for Atlanta now. I still got it going on.
Oh, you do?
I got somebody that know me to work their record. You want me to work his record. So
okay.
We're quite busy.
Well, let me ask you. The question was, what do you think about the music business today? How is it going?
The music business is going wild. The music business is off the chain.
Okay. And
it's going wild. And one thing about the music business, the rappers getting killed around there all the time. We used to have it back in the day, and nobody get killed in the music business. But now it's wide open. They act a fool. It's crazy.
Oh, okay. And Miss Chocolate, I'd like to ask you, how important is it to have a manager, promoter, for an artist?
Say that again?
I was asking Miss Chocolate.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Is she still with us? She may have had to step off for a minute. But Mr. Charles Gear, could you answer that question until she comes back and maybe some different thoughts? Mr. Gear?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on how important is it to have a manager, promoter, for an artist?
Well, for a manager, it's real good. All artists need a manager. Somebody can handle their business. Because the record companies, they don't like to talk to you if you're doing a record. They like to talk to a manager. You can't do it all with your mama or dad, because the mama and dad at one time raised so much sin, so they don't want to deal with them no more. You got to have a manager. And a promoter keeps your shows going, keep you booked all the time. So that's the difference between the promoter and the manager.
Oh, okay. Well, definitely, I know you certainly would know. Do artists have to do everything themselves?
Well, they have to get their records ready. That's the main thing. They have to concentrate on getting their product finished. Before anything else, like booking and stuff, the manager comes in and do all that.
Yes. And is Miss Chocolate back with us?
Yes.
Okay.
I apologize. I was having some technical difficulties.
Oh, no problem. And Mr. Charles Gear, he stepped up to the plate for you. And I wanted to ask you the same question, how important it is to have a manager promoter for an artist.
Well, I've been in the business for 38 years, working for Urban One radio station under my dad, Cy Young. He's my mentor, so it's very important for an artist to have a manager or a management company representing them, because it doesn't look professional for an artist to be representing themselves and going out to connect with different networks, because it makes them not look apart when it comes to the industry. So they would definitely need to have that first. Furthermore, the manager make sure the artist's paperwork is together. That's what they're supposed to do. Make sure their shows are in order, as well as just make sure they got everything cross their T's, dot their I's, and their Q's. Everything else, from A to Z.
Right.
So a manager is definitely important for artists to have to get them further, because they're not going to have the same if they dealing with the right manager, because all managers don't have the same context as each other. But they have the right manager, that manager can get them to where they at.
Oh, that's great. And, I already knew, but I've worked with some artists before, and to book their own shows and they have a manager, I found that that's like, it could be a conflict of interest. And like most artists that I've run into, they always say, this is my manager. And that's a good thing when they're out. See my manager about this, that, and the other. That takes the stress off of them as well. Yes. So
their main focus is supposed to be recording. Just recording, repeating their ideas and their music. Writing, recording, getting ready for their shows, prepping for the next movement. But yeah.
Right. And we appreciate you definitely coming on the spot for Miss Nicole Jackson tonight, you as her manager. Mr. Charles Gear, and then I ask, Sabrina, if she have any comments or questions, to definitely chime in. What are your thoughts on, just how artists should do in reference to their business, their music career? How important is it for an artist, and I know I kind of changed it up, to follow her manager or his manager to the T?
I don't understand what you said.
I'm sorry. You're sounding clear. How important it is for a recording artist, to go by the guidelines of
it's important to go by the guidelines, but most of them don't go by the guidelines. They go by their lines.
Oh, is that what you ran into?
Yeah.
Sabrina, do you have any questions or comments you'd like to ask? I'm sorry, were you about to say something, Chocolate, Miss Chocolate? Oh, okay.
My question is for new and up and coming artists. Every artist have a dream or a vision, or what they envision their life is going to be when they start in the industry. And the first thing they do, the one thing that they are really excited about is making the money. Like, they're going to make all of this money when they get in the industry, because they feel that their music is different, right? And they're bringing something different. So, and this is for Mr. Charles or Miss Chocolate, either one. Could you speak to those artists that want to get into the industry, and letting them know, starting from the bottom where you are, how important it is. One, we always talked about how important it was to have a manager, and how to, help them get a good manager that won't take advantage. But just explain to them, when you first get in, you're not going to make millions it's going to take time because you have to build up your reputation. So if you could just, speak to our audience or those young artists out there that have this big star vision of, when they get into stardom, how it's going to be. So they won't be so crushed when they get in the industry and it's not anything like what they dreamed or envisioned. So either one of you can answer that.
Okay, I answered Mr. Pierce. I don't know if you understood what she was saying. But I understand clearly what you're saying. Okay, I wanted to clear this. I do management. I manage people, careers, and business. So I'm not Nicole's manager. She's under my management and my PR. I'm her PR. But to clear everything up, and it comes to a manager, because I used to be a manager, and I used to manage Keith Mary, the whole No Limit, record label, Gucci Man, Shorty Low, and all these different people. When they first started off in the industry, yes, it takes time to build your brand. So for order for an artist, when they first start out, first you got to make sure, do your research. Make sure the person that you really dealing with can really make those things happen for you. That's the first thing you need to do. Second thing, really, that you're supposed to be the first thing is to make sure your music and yourself is together, meaning copyrights, meaning you got all your paperwork together first to get you branded. Okay, the third thing an artist need to do, don't give up, don't lose faith, because it's not going to happen overnight. But as soon as it do, then everything that you tried for, you will gain all the way back. So no one's going to never blow up overnight, because any artist, unless, they're being constantly at their dream in just 24 hours, they constantly working. Now, that's something totally different if your drive is different. Every artist's drive is different from each other. So you can't say, put your talent and match it with another talent. Because if they blew within 2 weeks, doesn't mean that you're going to blow in 2 weeks. But you always got to, depends on the level of music that you are bringing out. So if you doing hip-hop, R&B, jazz, or whatever you're doing, always know, because that artist that blew or already made it, just remember this. It takes 6 months to a year, maybe 2 years, for an artist project to really blow. It depends on who's working your project. It took me to work I Am Keynotes, Petey Pablo, and the Baby project. It blew within 2 months. And within 2 months, it went gold. From 4 months, it went platinum. So it depends on the artist. Depends on the artist have a fan base or not. Now, if you don't have a fan base, you have to build your fan base. Not performing from a lot of other artists, because you need to draw the attention to the people that don't know you. And for order for you to be able to do that, you got to be able to brand, invest in yourself, and another thing again, do not give up. Reach out, keep going forth. Because no matter what, you will get to where you're going. But if you don't have your stuff in order, I don't dealt with it with one of the artists in North Carolina, where one of his songs got stolen by a major artist. Only because he didn't have his paperwork right, and he branded himself before he even put his music on any platforms or be any type of written or any type of paperwork. So you have to make sure that everything is in order before you get pushed. I pushed Mary J. Blige and a lot of different people through Cy Young, Urban One, Radio One, Hot 107.9, K97.9. Everybody know me through Chocolate Deluxe, from pushing Wu-Tang, Ice Cream, everything. I go way back for 5 years. I was 5 years old when I started pushing people on radio. So, and doing events and branding other artists. So if you really want to make it, and if that's where you want to be, and that's your goal, and that's your dream, and that's your passion, and you dream, sleep, eat, and
Right.
And if you see yourself in that position, go forward. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't do it. Don't even, and stop listening to other people. That's another thing these artists be losing track of, because they listen to other people instead of listening to the person that really know what they doing, and they'll go back and listen to, I don't have this done before plenty of times when I was pushing this artist named Maine. His name was Maine, and he had a song out called Keisha. Keisha. It's just, and stay out of trouble. Because don't know record label, don't nobody want to manage or be involved with an artist. They can't control their temper. They can't listen. They always, think they know everything. If you did, you'll be on BET. Okay, you will be in the Grammys. You'll get that real award. You will be popping on the radio through the new words. You will be popping or have the wave on radio and TV.
Right.
So, don't let Instagram fool you or this social media fool you and have you thinking that you don't made it because you haven't. If the people out here that work for 9 to 5 walk past you and don't know who you are and they don't recognize you, then that means you haven't made it to the point where you need to be at.
Excelente. Yes.
Every question, I had like 3 questions and those were the major.
Yes.
So,
hey. If you
those
didn't,
were my major 3 questions
right.
I was going to ask you because.
Oh Lord.
No.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. That's
right.
what you do.
Right.
Because that was the major thing. Because that is literally
exactly.
what I see.
Exactly. But Miss Sabrina, if you could just hold that thought, because we do know that Mr. Charles Gear and Mr. Herman Hitson was in the midst of, they weren't going to be on the show long. And I know that they were in the midst of probably going out to eat. So, Mr. Gear, you have any last words that you like to say before getting on off the air, as well as Mr. Hitson, because we're getting ready to go deep with Chocolate now. With this information, I see we done got her started. So, Mr. Charles Gear, yes. You have anything that you'd like to say? Because I know you do know Miss Chocolate as well. But as far as the music industry, what would you like to leave before getting off the air to the young artists today? What do they need to do?
Well, the young artists, listen, Miss Chocolate covered just about everything that's to be covered in the music business, getting started and all that. She did a good job.
Exactly. Thank you so much. And Mr. Hitson, Herman Hitson, I know you there. Would you like to say anything to our audience, our listeners?
Yeah, thank you, Sister Nadine.
Oh.
And hello, Chocolate. And hello,
no problem.
Out there listening. And everybody with ears. And who is the other lady, Sabrina?
Yes. She's our
you too, darling.
Oh, the host.
I already.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yes. I like to wish everybody a very happy season of greeting. And I got a new record, and I want everybody to get out and run and buy it.
And what's the name?
You can't keep a good man down.
You can't keep a good man down. Okay.
Yeah, and another thing, you can't keep a woman down for real.
Okay.
That's my latest song. I got it with words and instrumental.
Okay.
So you'll have one, Charlie. Chocolate, you have one too, darling. All right, love.
Thank you so much, and we definitely appreciate you all stopping by, being on our Speak Out Your Issue show on WLMR DB Radio, and we will be talking with you soon, Mr. Herman. We will get you back on our show, okay?
All right, buddy.
All righty.
It'll be my pleasure.
All righty. And you all take care.
All right.
Okay. Now, Miss Chocolate, thank you so much for being patient. Definitely, Miss Sabrina, go right ahead. I knew that they were in the midst of doing some other stuff. So we wanted them to go ahead and enjoy the rest of their evening. So, Miss Sabrina, if you'd like to continue.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, you literally answered, all of the questions that I had, because that's what I've been seeing. Those that, again, and like you said, they become these internet sensations or these social media sensations, and then they get in, the music industry, and they think that it's going to be the same wave.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like you said, if the children that you walk by don't know your name, or the people that you walk by don't know you're an artist, and I'm granted, I don't know every artist, and because my music, the genre of music I listen to is different, but when I hear an artist's name, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I heard my children talk about it. I heard, my nieces or my nephews, they're talking about it. So you're absolutely correct. And then again, like you said, it's important that you listen, especially if you're coming in as a novice. You don't know anything, not everything. You know nothing at all. So it is important that you listen. You learn the industry from the ground up and learn how to, how to navigate everything. But at the same time, you make sure that you don't just sign your name on the dotted line just because somebody put a contract in front of your face. We learned from a previous artist, learn how to read your contracts.
That's very important.
Every word means absolutely, and have representation, from that. So my last question would be, since you answered all the questions, now I got to make up a whole another question.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I apologize. I've been doing this for 38 years.
Oh, no. No. That was it. That's right. That was needed.
So now I got to come up with another question. That's my fault. I'm fast on my feet.
Well,
hey.
That's right.
But,
the next question is so silly.
Hey. Yes, indeed.
So, but the next question, and I think this is very important, is how can you tell those that are wanting to get into this business? Because I've heard horror stories of how managers and promoters have taken such great advantage of these artists, and there was just really bad, relationship, and you get into this contract with them, and it's crazy. So what would be some good tips that you can give to those that want to get into this business on how to find a good management company, a company that will manage them or promote them?
Okay, well, the first thing you do is Google. Google's going to show you if the person...
Google review, right?
Google, research, do your research. See if they really doing what they say they can do. Then try to see who all had they managed before you, or being a manager. Then, it depends on the talent too, what genre of music they are in, because everybody can't reach all when it comes to branding an artist. Everyone can't reach national or global, like overseas, or the whole U.S. and Canada, and then the small little islands and everything like that. You got to make sure that whoever's branding you, or whoever managing you, or whoever say that they can do whatever they can do, can really show you that they can do it. whoever, give me one of, you don't have to show me the artist's name, okay? You can erase the artist's information out and your personal information out. If they erase their information out, that's fine. But let them be able to show you the artist and who they don't brand, how they got them to, not how they got them there, but actually what steps they took to get that artist that they had branded before you to the level that they at.
Mm-hmm.
And if everything makes sense, go with that manager. But you got to make sure that they know what they're doing and know what they're saying. But half the time, you artists don't even know if they know what they're doing because you don't even know what you're doing.
Right.
You're in the blind. So
right.
pretty much in this music industry, it's like the blind leading the blind. And that's what
you gotta have a good attorney, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
You know what? You said something that really hit home. There's nothing worse. We talked to a manager some years ago, and they told us the story about the young man that made the song Wobble, and how that happened. Now, it was a young man that made that song. And, yeah, and that song was taken from him by another artist because he did the same thing. He didn't know to have his song copyrighted. He didn't know to make sure that to protect his asset and protect his music. So it was taken from him. And there's just a whole bunch of artists, a lot of artists that have lost their music like that. What's the other one? I get so weak in the knees.
Oh, I'm not for certain.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That song was a poem that a 14-year-old girl wrote. And a manager, a promoter, I think it was, approached this little girl about her song. And I want to say that this was back a long time ago. They paid her I think he paid her like $175, $150, $200 for her song. And look what happened to it. It blew up. So I have, to hear those stories, it just hurts, because I'm a writer. I am a songwriter. And so I've learned, just by hearing those horror stories, everything I write has been copyrighted.
And with that, can we just pause and take a station break, if you all don't mind, because it's almost 30 minutes in. And normally we take a break before now, but hold that thought, Sabrina. I don't want you to lose it if you have to write it down, okay? And I do remember you're a writer yourself. That's what we'll come back on. Guess what? We have Miss Chocolate here with us, standing in on behalf of her recording artist, Nicole Jackson, giving us some great tips. We will be right back.
Can you work it out? Can you work me out? Ladies, can they work us out? Work it out. If that man is pleasing you, put your hands up. Fellas, if that lady's pleasing you, put your hands up. I want it all. Work. Put it on me. Work. Take it slow. Work. Take your time, babe. Work. Work me over. Work. Work me right. Work. Work it on me. Work. Put it real deep. Work. Work me out. I wanna know. Love me, baby. You say you know what I want, baby. You say you know how to please me. Well, here I am, baby. Show me. Work it on me. Work me, baby. Squeeze me, baby. Make it last. Oh, I love you, baby. To all my NJ fans out there, to all my independent men out there, this song simply coming from Fort Worth, baby. Work it out. Nicole Jackson, baby.
You all, thank you for staying tuned in with Speak Out Your Issues with Ben Show. You right, Nadine. Guess what? If you have not been writing it down, you've been missing it. But you'll get a chance to hear it again. We have Miss Chocolate here, our final guest with us tonight. She's really been giving us some good information. And I know before the station break, Miss Sabrina was asking her some questions, and I know you was getting into that you were a writer as well, Sabrina. So, hey, let's depart a lot of this good information.
No, what I was sharing, as from hearing all of that, and I've shared in previous shows that, my mother was a singer, so I grew up in that background and seeing what could happen, and I just wanted to share with our listeners yet again, please protect your work. Everything you write, you protect your music and protect your work. Copyright all of your stuff. That way no one can take anything from you. And Ms. Chocolate was sharing with us, that process and what was happening back in the day, and what, how people were doing it and the mess it created because they were doing it. And if Ms. Chocolate, if you would reiterate what you said as to what happened and how it's done nowadays, and then give us from your expertise on the proper way of doing it and how to make sure that you protect yourself in this industry. Because, let's just be real, and I heard it so much over the years. It's a dog eat dog.
There's a cutthroat world.
Hey.
Mm-hmm. Cutthroat world.
You shared with us about the beat and how, and what they were doing back then and how they kind of like policed it now. It's a little better.
Yeah. See, back then, when I was working with Zaytoven and Will the Fool, a lot of different production companies, producers, engineers, the whole break level, Okay, the way that they was doing it back then, it was like they'll give out the song, that beat. It'll be that one beat. They might give it out to 20 artists. Now, it's just lease. It's not paid for. So it's not paid for, and if you didn't buy the masters of that beat, guess what? You only leasing that beat out. So anybody can come on that song, rap to that beat, and blow off of it. Now, whoever blow off of it first was going to get the spreadsheet and the copyrights and the royalties off of it. That's how they did it a long time ago. Now they don't got it a little bit more tight with it now because it caused too much chaos, too many lawsuits, too many things going on, so it was hurting the record label's pockets. By me working with under Universal, Sony, Cash Money, Keyboard Records, you name it, just in case so they won't get mad at me. Big Boot Camp and the rest of these guys out here, all the record labels.
Don't say nobody's name. Well, I want you to get in trouble now.
Yeah, no, I'm saying they don't want, because they'll get mad if I don't say their names. So, so I'm going to say all the record labels and management companies that I manage for my whole 38 years, have been, I don't see a lot. As the youngest female in the music industry to now. And it is sad, but now they got it where you have to do the spreadsheet. And the first thing you need to do whenever you go to a studio and record your music, always, before you leave that studio, make sure you have a hard drive to put the whole studio file on that drive. Before you leave, you make sure that producer, that engineer, whoever doing your music, delete that file and make sure it's deleted out of their system. And the only reason for that, because artists do not know, by it being in that recording studio, it could be considered that production company's music. So a lot of people don't know that, but hey, I'm waking people up. That's the reason why I'm back in the music industry. I took a break after my brother was murdered and my dad passed and stuff like that, but I'm back now to help my people to get to where they need to go. And if you really want to make it, I'm the person that can help you get to the top and take it to the BET Awards. But you got to have the funding to do it, so I can be able to get you there. But if you don't have the funding, I can help you get the funding to do it. And that means help build your fan base, help put something together so you can brand and bring in money to help you to get to where you're going. But you have to listen. And that's the number one problem with these artists is the listening skills, and that's called artist development. And you got to have artist development. You got to learn how to humble yourself. You got to learn how to listen. You got to know your stage presence and everything. You don't know these things. It's just like being on a stage on BET and the lightning's all in your eyes because you never performed at no big concert, no big event. So you don't know where to stand or know where to go to keep the light out your face. So, and then you mess up your whole routine, your whole song and everything like that. It's the same thing. Nothing different.
Love
it's like riding a bike.
Yes, love it. Really appreciate you saying all of that, because just the mere fact of you bringing up the point, if your music is not deleted, before, out of the studio, that makes sense. That makes sense. Those are the little things which are gigantic things to know, for yourself. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah, a lot of artists' music gets stolen that way. Yeah. They might have a big name come in the studio, and the producer or the engineer might be playing that song, and they end up taking the song like, yeah, this is my beat. Yeah, you can get on it, but the whole time it's not their beat, not their song.
Oh, see. And is there anything else you'd like to ask Miss Sabrina?
Yeah, that was a big wow, because that explains why you have these artists now that are being sued. saying that they've stolen somebody else's music. And then the good part about it is some of the artists that wrote them, I've seen cases where they may have had their music on their, they showed how they wrote the beat, or they may have it on their computer and stuff like that to show proof. Hey, this is mine. I made this, right? And they stole it. But that artist that has a name and is so big, guess what? They've made millions off of that song, right? But, you still, they may pay you because you sued, but at the end of the day, it's still known as that big artist that made it, that on that music. Even though you made it, it's still theirs.
Right.
Because their fans don't recognize you. Their fans don't know you. But their fans know them, and their fans are loyal to them.
Right.
So, you have just, woo!
Yes.
Kim Barker.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
You laid it down, okay? And this is so important. Listeners.
Y'all would have to bring me on my own show. Y'all have to interview me by myself.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Clive and Trick Daddy and all these people. I literally pushed a lot of people in the industry. And a lot of people took credit of my stuff that I done because I was a baby. I didn't know what I know now.
Right.
You know better now, don't you?
Yeah, I know better now. And see, my dad and Cy Young even told me when I first came to him, he was like, you know what you know? Before he left Radio 1, everybody knows Cy Young all over the world.
Right.
And know who I am too, because of Cy Young and all the people I don't push from the and everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So by me and my dad doing all that stuff, and later on when he left the radio station and he went to a gospel radio station, it was like, you need to let everybody know that you're the reason why their music got played on radio, because if it wasn't for you, none of their music would have made it.
See,
So,
that's a beautiful thing.
And so I've been out here just doing what I need to do, making my godfathers proud, making my father proud from above.
Yeah.
And for them too, I won't be doing music.
Exactly.
And Dr. Dre and Ed Lover, I got to shout out my other two godfathers. They helped me with the filming and the clubbing, because I started doing club scenery and stuff like that, booking clubs and all that because of them, and doing the TV scenery with them and stuff like that. But yeah.
Okay.
Y'all, I appreciate what y'all doing, and thank y'all for having me on y'all show.
Oh,
and
no
thank
problem.
you for all the listeners that's tuning in. Happy holidays to every last one of y'all. On behalf of me and Nicole Jackson.
Yeah.
And keep requesting Work It Out Part 2, okay?
Well, that's what I was gonna get you. We're gonna take a station break, and if you got 5 more minutes with us, we definitely wanted to ask you in reference to Nicole and her record and how people can get in contact with you. But right now, you guys, we'll take a station break, and we'll be right back.
Do you want top-notch entertainment or Broadway plays for your event or establishment? Then see you need to hook up with Newham Carter Broadway Plays Promoters, LLC. Give them a call today at 470-776-0863. Your clients will be running back to your establishment when they see your next event is produced by Newham Carter Broadway Plays Promoters, LLC.
Everyone, again, you're tuned in with Speak Out Your Issues with Miss Show You Right, Nadine and Sabrina. And before our last guest, go off the air with us, Miss Chocolate, I was about to ask her, her artist that Nicole Jackson that she has currently, if you can let us know a little bit about the songs that she's written and her latest hits, and how is it going, with being her manager?
She had a lot of songs out. Bag that wagon up, and
Mm-hmm.
We go again and Work It Out Part 2, Work It Out, the original, and the Work It Out remix. She got so many songs. I can't even name all of them. The lady, she's I'm gonna say this about her because she's very motivated and drive. She got that drive for what she's talking for. And I remember when she first hit me up about pushing her music. So she was like, well, I'm gonna pray about it. I'm gonna ask God if it's you the right person to be pushing my music. My first thing to her was like, well, go ahead and pray to God. As soon as he tell you that I'm the person, hit me up. Couple weeks later, she hit me up, and here we go. I put together the Work It Out tour for her, and I've been pushing her ever since. Been on different radio stations, had her on the TV show prior. She made number 1 on the top 5 radio list on different radio stations. So she's making a lot of noise.
Okay.
I re-examined her whole movement from which she had gone on prior before. She came to me, but she had also issues with management and different people not doing what they said they were going to do for her. And as soon as she came under my umbrella, the same day I started knocking her stuff out and locking in different stuff and putting together this tour, radio promo tour for her. And we've been on the road since. She just left and went back to her hometown Monday. And now we working on getting the final concert tour going.
Okay.
So she'll be somewhere everywhere, Mississippi, back in Atlanta. I'm gonna have her in Virginia, different areas. But yeah, she's very driving. She has to drive and very motivated. A very happy person. Like, I love her spirit. So she has a good spirit. And she tell you how she feels, so she don't bite her tongue.
Right.
And that's one thing I like about her. I don't bite my tongue either, so.
Right.
If I don't like it, I'll tell you your music not good or whatever. Even down to your name. I'm gonna give y'all an example before I throw it out. But the Migos, I gave them their name. They came on my stage when I had this event at Club Crow's Nest.
Right.
It was like in 2000 or something. And they came on my stage and they was named the Junior Varsity. That was the name of their group at first. And I was like, no, that name don't fit y'all. And I told them about the movie called The Three Amigos. So I said, y'all ever seen the movie The Three Amigos? I said, no. I said, y'all need to go and watch that movie. And y'all know why I called y'all the Three Amigos, the Amigos. I said, because that's who y'all remind me of. And then, a year later, the Migos came out. And they blew off of that name. Sometimes it's not just about your talent, it's about your branding of your name as well. If your name is a good branding name, like Gucci Mane, I gave him his name. If your name is a good branding name, because you should have heard what they was trying to give him at first. But I was like, no. So it's all about the branding of your name, your character, and everything. Like, all that plays a part. But her character, Nicole Jackson, out in this world, that lady y'all need to see her performances. This woman puts on a show. Wow. And she's internationally known, so her concerts be packed out.
Oh, well, that's a good thing.
Once we do her concerts and everything, everybody be on the lookout for that because she will be in your city, in your state, doing these shows and coming out and showing love to her fans. And yeah.
That's good.
Nicole Jackson?
Yes.
She's bad. And then her bloodline from being related to, what's her name? Franklin. I can't even think of her name right now.
She was
Lord.
back in the
Aretha Franklin. Yep. She's family members of her bloodline from the Jacksons and all. Her bloodline, she comes from the bloodline of music.
Right.
It's in her DNA to be successful, to be great.
Right.
And by her being in a car accident, put her behind on being able to reach out to a lot of her peoples and everything like that.
Right.
But now she's back doing her thing and it's taking off. I've been having so many phone calls about her. I barely be able to answer the phone. I'm surprised my phone ain't blowing up right now.
Hey, God had put a finger in it, so he knew you needed to come. Right.
Husky voice, you know.
Remind you of Tina Turner almost, right?
Perfect. And, you know, R&B and soul. You know, I was listening to some of her songs. I'm like, man, she has a really beautiful, raspy voice. You know, and just amazing. So, and if you could tell our listening audience, you know, how can they get, for those that are wanting or needing a manager or needing a promoter, you know, how can they get in contact with you or follow you for that?
Say it again, love.
How can I, for anyone that wants to, you know, if we have any of our listeners out there now that want to become artists, and how can they get in contact with you if they would like to reach out to your industry for you to be their promoter or their manager?
Okay, well, all they got to do is reach out to me on social media at The Only Real Chocolate.
Okay.
At The Only Real Chocolate. Okay.
Yeah, at The Only Real Chocolate.
At The Only Real Chocolate. Good. Okay. And that's great. Great. And thank you so much for standing in for Nicole. I know she just left here, and I just wanted everyone to know that I got a chance to talk with her, and she did share, you know, being in that accident. And but she just have so much energy, just flowing through the telephone.
Beautiful energy.
You can tell she's smiling when she's talking. And we didn't get a chance to see you all when she came through this past weekend, but pray to God we would get a chance to meet her in person. And that's why she said, yes, I do it. And then she wasn't thinking. I'm glad she's with guarded people to know that, you know, how the steps is, like Chocolate said earlier, go through the manager. Go through the manager. It's been a pleasure of you know, being on our show, and always welcome to come back, like you mentioned, coming back for your own show. And and how do we get a chance to let people know how to get to Nicole's music?
Okay, they can go on all platforms, like Apple, any social media outlet from YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. Look up Nicole Jackson or Nicole Work It Out Jackson. Different social media outlets, but she is on Pandora, all the retail stores, distributing retail stores like Apple Music, Spotify, you name it. She's on it.
Okay.
So y'all can go on all those outlets and to go download her music, listen to it, and trust me, you will be working it out in your living room. And, you know, and for you men out there, I feel sorry for you because your women gonna work it out on you. You gonna be ready. You're gonna be ready.
Y'all just too much right now.
I had to put a little bit of Nicole in there.
Yes.
exactly how she be saying it.
But one thing about it is, it sounds like an upbeat music that you definitely can work it out through exercise and just dancing on the floor, okay? Yes, we really appreciate it.
Burn up a lot of sweat on that song.
Yes, well, again, thank you, Miss Chocolate, for coming on our show.
And thank you for having me and for having Nicole. Yeah. And hopefully y'all be playing my other artists. He's an inspirational artist very soon. I'll bring y'all especially he's an international artist.
Of course.
So,
wow, okay.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to it.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
So, yes, have a great night and happy holidays again for everybody.
Thank you.
And y'all have a blessed week, blessed holiday.
Thank you.
You as well.
You too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And with that, you all, hey, that has come to the end of our show. Speak Out Your Issues with Miss Show You Right, Nadine and Sabrina on WLMR DB Radio. We just want to let you know, by all means, pay attention. Listen to our show coming up on the 26th of December at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you will get a lot of good information. Yeah, I know you're going to be like, wow. And of course, if you ever would like to be on our show or get in contact with us, you can go to our Speak Out Your Issues Facebook, website. We have a YouTube, and just simply call us at 404-735-8607. With that, we're going to have Miss Sabrina end the show with her famous quote.
Oh, absolutely. When you know your value, my beautiful people, no one will ever be able to diminish your worth.
And that's a Show You Right coming from Miss Show You Right. With that, you all have a great week and enjoy your evening.
In your face, all over the place. We're online 24/7. 24/7. You're listening to the hottest internet station, WLMR DB Radio.